Now we want to have a look at adding an airframe to RPAS Logger. So in order to do that, we click on the Details button at the top left, and we get a little menu here that's showing us adding UAVs, accessories, or remote pilots. We want to add a UAV, so we click the button at the top. There's none there in the list. We'd like to add a new one, so we hit the little plus sign right at the top right. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is pick the aircraft type. And there's a number of types pre-configured, but for my regulatory framework, I want to add a different type. So I click the little plus on the right hand side of the aircraft type button, and now I can add in my own type. So this is a multi-rotor sub 7 kg, which is a class of UAV under our regulatory framework. So this particular machine is a Scarab. So I'm going to call it Scarab 1. Model is a Scarab. Autopilot is a Wukong. Manufacturer is Multiwee. I can add some history there if I want to, and again, similarly as with the batteries, I can scan in a barcode. And that just makes it easier in the field if I've got a lot of different airframes and things to make sure I'm logging against the right one. So I just put the weight in there, and now we move on to checklists. When we're adding a checklist, we can add checklists manually, or we can import them from a checklist file. So I've downloaded the basic multi-rotor checklist from our website, so I'm going to import that, save myself a bit of work. So I click the import button at the top right of the screen, and go to where I've downloaded that file and import it. So you can see straight away that it's set up a number of checklist items for me for pre-flight and post-flight. So let's have a little look at one of these a little more closely. So I'll edit that first one there, and you can see at the top is the name of the checklist item, and that'll appear on our checklist later when we're starting our flight. And then there's some instructions about what exactly it's asking to clarify, and then further down I can change the way or the frequency at which it's displayed, so by flights or by minutes or by hours, and I can change the number of any of those. So at the moment I'm going to have it displayed every one flight. Now this is selected as a critical item, which means if I say no, I won't be able to proceed with the flight. And I can't select not applicable because it's a critical item. But if it wasn't a critical item, I could also allow it to display a not applicable option in the checklist. The box further down where it says do not fly, that is the text that will appear if you say no. And if this was not a required item and was able to display a not applicable prompt, you would then see the text in the next box, and it would show you whatever message was appropriate when you hit not applicable. So that's about it for setting up checklists. You can import ours, you can make up your own, you can import ours and edit it and add your own. So now we're going to move along to battery alarms. For every battery that we enter into the system, we'll see it listed here by its capacity. So you may have a number of batteries with the same capacity, so we don't want to set an alarm for every single battery, we're just setting an alarm for each battery capacity. So these alarms are alarms that go off during the flight as the time ticks along. So basically you set in here the time that you want to hear a low battery warning, a very low battery warning, and a critical battery warning. So they just serve as a bit of a reminder if you're busy concentrating on your aircraft. It gives you an audible tone to remind you that you're possibly running out of time. So I'm going to set the first one just for fun here at 10 minutes, the next one at 11 minutes, and the last one at 12 minutes. So basically once my flight time reaches 10 minutes, I'll get my low battery warning. In 11 minutes my very low battery warning, and at 12 minutes my critical battery warning. Once you get a feel for exactly how the different batteries perform on that airframe, you can come and make alterations to those to make them a little more accurate or make them a little more safe, whatever you need to do. So that's pretty much all there is to setting up an airframe. You can see that we've come back to the airframe listing now, and I'm just going to check my barcode by scanning the barcode and see if it accesses that machine for me. Yeah, you can see it takes me into that machine, and I can click the pencil there to edit.